Today is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. It is also day 386 of WebDev, and today I'm just going to make a modal, which is basically like a pop-up once you click on a button. So I'm just going to do this using HTML and CSS only. So I have my head tags here. In my head tags, I'm going to put a meta tag, name equals viewport, because I'm going to target my viewport, and then about the viewport, I need its contents width to be equal to the width of the device, as long as the initial scale set to 1.0. Basically what this means is that when you're on your mobile device, when you're on your phone, you're going to look at the mobile view instead of the desktop version of my state. Okay, and then inside the HTML tags, I'm going to do body tag, and in here I'm just going to create a div, label it with a class container, and then I'll go ahead and end that div there, and then target it with my CSS using dot notation because it's a class, so you use dot notation for classes, 5 pixels black solid for a border, and then a height of 100 vertical height of the screen. And then I'm going to get rid of any margin and padding that there is already by using the everything selector, which is a star. So I'm going to zero out the margin, I'm going to zero out the padding, and I'm also going to set box sizing to border box. Alright, so all I'm going to have in here is just an href, which is going to be a button that leads to my modal. So this is going to be like click me, and then I'm going to go ahead and give this an ID of btn for button, and then I'll go to my CSS and do btn. What just happened? Okay, and then I'll give it a background color. Let me see. First of all, I want to give the body, which is everything, a background color, and then work on the link. So maybe background color of this for the body, and then maybe a button that looks like this, and then obviously have a padding of 10 pixels top and bottom, 20 pixels left and right. The color should be white, and then there shouldn't be any text decoration, which is basically the underline. So I'll set that to none instead of underline, because that's what it is right now. And then I'll make sure to have it in the middle of the page, and in order to do that, I'm just going to set, let's see, I can do display flex on the container, so I could do display flex, and then I can just do justify content center, and then align items center. So justify content moves it horizontally, and then align items moves it vertically, but I don't want it to be aligned towards the center. I want it to be aligned towards the top. So maybe what I'll do instead is just give it a certain height and width. So I'll give it a height of, let's see, I don't know, 40 pixels, and see what that looks like. So that's a little bit okay. Let me get rid of that. Alright, and then I'll also make sure that there is a margin. Oh, did I give it? Oops, I meant to do this for the button, not the container. So 40 pixels, that's looking good. And then I'll also give it a margin of 20 pixels from the top, so that there's space between the top and, you know, the button. So also I want it to have a hover effect, so when I hover over it, I want the background to change to like a slightly darker color. So I'll go here to the shader and kind of get like a slightly darker color, go back, and then just paste that in there. And now when I hover over it, it should change to be a little bit more darker, although maybe it needs to be a little bit more, something like this. Save that. Okay, now it's a little bit more prominent. Okay. All right, so when I click on this button, I need a modal to pop up. So I'll actually create the modal. So I'll do a div, and I'll give it an ID of Modal. Actually, first I'll do, let's see, I'll do a class called Modal container, give it an ID of Modal. And inside the Modal container, there's going to be the Modal itself. And inside the modal, it's just going to be like, I don't know, like an email address, or maybe it's like, hello, world, I don't know. All right, hello world, and then I'll go ahead and style it using my CSS. So come down here, and then I'll target the modal container, give it a border, 5 pixels, white solid. Make sure the width is 100%, the height is also 100%, and then I need it to be so that it's, let's see, do I want the button to have a position? Absolute, there we go. So then that works that way, and then I need the button itself, or maybe the container, we'll see. The button can have a z-index of 1, and then the modal container can have a z-index of 2, so that it's above the button. Or maybe, no, yeah, I'll leave it like that. And then the modal container has the modal itself, so I'll give that a border, 5 pixels, white solid, and I want everything in it to be white so I could see it against the background. I also want it to be in the middle, so go ahead and go to the modal container, set that display to flex, justify content center, and then align items center, so that moves it towards the center vertically, and then justify content does it horizontally. All right, and then for the modal itself, I can give it a width of, I don't know, 200 pixels maybe, height of 200 pixels as well, something like that, then maybe a little bit like longer here. And then I'll give this a display flex also to have the hello world in the middle, so justify content center, align items center. All right, and then I'll go ahead and let's see, work with the maybe this, give it a background. I don't even know if I like that. Do I like that? Maybe. And then get rid of the border. And then what if I changed it to be black? Would that be a little bit more visible? No. I don't really like that. Okay. And then I need an X icon to X out of it. So I'll go ahead and get the Xbox one because that's the one I always use. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Xbox. All right, so I'm gonna right click, copy image address, and then I'm going to go to my HTML, and I'm just going to go inside the modal container and just create an image, which I actually want to be an href, so, and then inside is going to be an image. The source is going to be, oops, that link, and then that's that, and it's going to have an ID of X. All right, and then I'm going to make sure that the X has a position relative to the modal, so maybe I should put it inside the modal instead of the modal container. So it's inside the red box. All right, and then I can give the image of that ID a width of 25 pixels and a height of 25 pixels. And then I can make sure to move it from the left 90%, something like that. So kind of play around until it looks good. And then from the top, let's say 50%. Oops, nope, let's do 10 or 0. negative. Tell me how that makes sense. All right, now let's do 75. So move to the left, 70, and then bring it down a little bit. So negative 75. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's start with the actual animation part. So when I click on the button, click me, it should bring me to the Modal container. So click me is going to bring me to the Modal ID, which is the Modal container. I'm going to set the Modal container to have a visibility of hidden, so that it's hiding. And then when I click on it, the visibility should be visible when I set that. So when the hashtag modal is targeted, then the visibility should be visible. So now when I click on it, the modal container should pop up. There we go. And now to get out of here, I need to click this button and it automatically works, but yeah, so let's see. Just to kind of make sure things are set, so I'll do when this is targeted, I would need the visibility of the modal to be hidden again. So now that kind of works really nice there. And I think what I'll do is get rid of the border now. Whoops, okay. So the border of the container, don't need that anymore. I also don't need the border of the modal container. I'll get rid of that, and this is basically it. This is actually really ugly, so let me fix the red coloring. Maybe it would be better if I just gave it a border, right, just how I had it, and then get rid of the background. And so it's just looking a little bit nicer, kind of like that maybe. And then obviously, let's see, the X would have to be, I don't know, let me think. I just don't like the way it looks. I could just change, I could recolor it to be white, so I could do that, make it white, click on done, right click, copy image address, and just change it, okay, just change it up here. There's going to be a longer link, so let me just paste that in here. Now it's going to be white. When I click on it, it's white. And I could just move it down a bit because it's looking a little off. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, just move it down a bit, so that would be like negative 70 pixels. All right, so that would be good. And then maybe I can do, let's see, with 30 look good. Nope, never mind. Let's stick with 25. Okay, and then what's the other thing? The hello world seems to be a little more towards the right than the center, so I'm gonna have to fix that. So the way I'll fix that is maybe I'll target it by using the dot modal h1 and giving it a margin right of, let's say, 20 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's a little bit better. But then I would have to move this more to the right, so I'll do that. The X to the left of 70, maybe 73. Okay, so now it's looking really good. All right, so now let me look at it with debug mode and see how it looks like here. So if I click on the button, I get the modal and I can X out of it and it works really nicely. All right. Okay, yep, that's it for today then. Bye.